My name is Jake Owens. I'm 22 years old, living in a small, quiet apartment in downtown Austin, Texas. It's not much, but it's close to the university, and the rent is cheap. On most nights, I find myself alone, sitting on my couch, scrolling mindlessly through my phone. This Tuesday night was no different, or at least, that's what I thought. It was around 10 in the evening when a notification buzzed on my phone. I glanced down and saw it was a Snapchat from a username I didn't recognize. Shadowhunter 1023. I've had random ads on Snapchat before, usually spam accounts or bots, so I wasn't too concerned. Curiosity got the better of me, and I opened the snap. The screen was completely black, except for white numbers counting down. 59 minutes and 59 seconds. A countdown timer. Beneath it, in small text, were 2 words. I'm coming. I laughed it off at first. Probably some weird marketing prank, or maybe a glitch. I'd heard of spam accounts sending strange messages to people. I closed the app, not giving it much thought, and went back to scrolling. But something about it didn't sit right with me. As the minutes ticked by, that unsettling feeling grew. I couldn't explain why, but I had this gnawing sense of anxiety that wouldn't go away. Then my phone buzzed again. Another snap from the same username. This time, the timer was at 49 minutes and 15 seconds. But something else had changed. The black screen wasn't completely black anymore. I could barely make it out, but there were shadows, faint and blurry, like someone standing just outside of the frame. The caption read, "Closer." I felt a knot form in my stomach. This wasn't some harmless prank. Whoever was behind, it seemed to know what they were doing. I sat up straight on the couch, my fingers trembling as I held my phone. Was this some kind of sick joke, or was I really being targeted? I didn't respond. I figured it was better to ignore it. Engaging with a troll could make things worse. After all, it was probably just some random person trying to scare me. But deep down, I wasn't so sure. Minutes passed, and then came another snap. The countdown was at 39 minutes and 5 seconds. The shadow in the image was clearer now, closer to the camera. It still didn't show any distinct features, just a dark silhouette looming ominously in the frame. The caption simply said, "Almost there." That's when I started to feel real fear. My apartment, which had always felt safe, now seemed like a trap. Every creak in the walls, every distant car outside, seemed louder than usual. I got up and checked the locks on my door and windows, making sure everything was secure. My mind was racing. Could it be a hacker? Someone using my location data from Snapchat? I quickly turned off my location services, just in case. But then, another snap arrived. The timer had dropped to 29 minutes and 30 seconds. This time, the photo was taken outside, and I recognized the street sign in the background. It was only a couple of blocks away from my building. My pulse quickened. I texted a few friends, asking if they were behind this, but no one responded. That sinking feeling in my chest deepened. Whoever this was, they were close. Too close. The next snap sent a chill down my spine. 19 minutes and 12 seconds. The shadowy figure was now standing under a streetlight. Its face was hidden, but the background was unmistakable. My street. I grabbed a knife from the kitchen drawer, my hands trembling as I held it. Should I call the police? What would I even say? Then, another snap. 9 minutes and 2 seconds. The figure was directly outside my building now. I could see the graffiti on the wall. They were right here. My heart raced as I considered my options. Should I run out the back door? What if they were waiting there too? I felt trapped, like there was nowhere safe to go. I heard my phone buzz again. 3 minutes and 45 seconds. The shadow was now right outside my front door. The caption read, "Ready or not?" I froze in place, clutching the knife tighter. My phone buzzed again, but I couldn't bring myself to look. Instead, I stared at the door, waiting for it to burst open. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. There was a knock, 3 slow, deliberate knocks. I barely breathed as I crept closer to the door. My phone buzzed again, but I couldn't focus on anything except the growing fear inside me. 30 seconds. The doorknob rattled. I heard heavy breathing on the other side. Tears welled up in my eyes, and I fought the urge to scream. I waited, expecting the worst. Then, silence. No more knocks. No more rattling. Just the oppressive quiet of the night. My phone buzzed one final time. Slowly, I looked down at the screen. It was a picture of my front door, taken from the outside. The countdown had hit 0. The caption read, "Too late." I didn't move for hours. I just sat there, terrified, waiting for something to happen. But nothing did. Whoever they were, they didn't break in. They just left. Now, every time I get a random Snapchat from a stranger, I don't open it. And I always keep the doors locked. My name is Lily Johnson. I'm 21 years old, and I live alone in a small apartment in Los Angeles, California. I moved here a year ago for school and to get away from everything back home. It's been a fresh start, but living on my own can get lonely sometimes. That's why I've always loved Snapchat. It's a way to stay connected with friends, even if they're far away. Most nights, I'd spend time on the app using those funny filters that make your face look like a dog or put flower crowns on your head. I'd send snaps to my friends, making them laugh. It was all harmless fun. But a few weeks ago, something strange happened. I got a friend request from a user named NoFace. I didn't recognize the name, but sometimes random people add me on Snapchat, so I didn't think much of it. I accepted the request without really thinking, assuming it was just another bot account or maybe someone I met at a party who I forgot about. Later that day, I got a snap from NoFace. It was a picture, a distorted selfie of someone's face, stretched and warped by a filter. The caption read, "I see you." At first, I laughed. I thought it was some weird joke. Maybe someone trying to scare me, but it didn't feel real. People do strange things on social media all the time. I ignored it, thinking it would stop. But the next day, I got another snap from NoFace. This time, the image was darker, more blurred. I could barely make out a face. The caption read, "You're next." My stomach twisted when I read that. It wasn't funny anymore. I blocked the user immediately, not wanting to see anything else from them. I tried to brush it off, telling myself it was probably just some creep trying to mess with me. But the thought of that distorted face stuck with me, and I started to feel uneasy in my own apartment. That night, as I lay in bed, trying to fall asleep, my phone buzzed again. I groggily reached for it, assuming it was one of my friends sending a late-night snap. But when I opened the app, my heart dropped. It was a video from NoFace. I stared at the username, confused and scared. How could they send me something if I had blocked them? With shaking hands, I clicked on the video. It was shaky and dark, as if someone was walking through a dimly lit hallway. I couldn't see much at first, just shadows and the occasional flash of light. But then, something in the video made my blood run cold. It was my hallway. I watched, frozen in terror, as the camera moved through my apartment, inching closer to my bedroom door. My mind was racing, trying to understand what I was seeing. The video was showing someone inside my home, while I was sleeping. The clip ended just as the camera reached my bedroom door, and the screen went black. My breath came in quick, shallow bursts. I felt like I was going to be sick. Someone had been in my apartment, filming me, while I was completely unaware. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911, barely able to get the words out as I explained what had happened. When the police arrived, they searched the entire apartment. They found nothing. No signs of forced entry, No footprints, nothing disturbed. It didn't make sense. How could someone have been inside without leaving any trace? The officers tried to reassure me that it was probably a prank, that someone could have hacked into my phone, but I couldn't shake the feeling of dread. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every little sound made me jump. I kept checking the locks, peeking out the windows, my nerves completely frayed. At some point, exhaustion took over, and I drifted off, clutching my phone in my hand. I woke up to the sound of my bedroom door creaking open. For a moment, I thought I was still dreaming, but then I saw it, a dark figure standing in the hallway, just beyond the doorway. My heart stopped. The figure wasn't moving, just standing there, watching me. And in their hand, they were holding something. My phone. I screamed louder than I ever had in my life. The figure bolted, running out of the apartment as I scrambled out of bed. Still shaking with fear, I grabbed a heavy lamp from my nightstand and ran after them. But by the time I reached the front door, they were gone. The police came again, and this time they took me more seriously. They dusted for prints, checked the security cameras in my building, and eventually, they caught the person who had been stalking me. It was my ex-boyfriend. He had been following me for months, sneaking into my apartment when I wasn't home, watching me through Snapchat, waiting for the right moment to make his move. The thought of him lurking in the shadows, watching me sleep, still haunts me to this day. Even though he's behind bars now, the fear hasn't gone away. I'm constantly on edge, checking my surroundings, jumping at every noise. I haven't used Snapchat since that night. I don't think I ever will again. My name is Tyler Hayes. I'm 20 years old and living in Denver, Colorado. It's a quiet city, mostly peaceful, but that night, everything changed for me. I was lying on my bed, scrolling through my phone, completely bored. It was just another dull evening. Around 8:30, I got a snap from Durek, a guy from my class who had been traveling in Europe for the last month. We weren't close, but we'd sent a few snaps here and there. The snap was a regular selfie, Derek grinning with a backdrop of some random street. Nothing unusual at first, but then I noticed something odd. The location tag on the snap said he was just 2 streets away from my house. I sat up, feeling a little confused. Derek had made it clear he wouldn't be back for another 2 weeks. And here I was, looking at a snap claiming he was nearby. I messaged him, asking, "Hey, are you back in town?" His response came quickly, "Nah, still in Europe." Why? I took a screenshot of the snap and sent it to him, saying, "Your snap says you're down the road from me." There was a pause before Derek replied, "Dude, that's weird. I haven't even touched my phone since this morning." My gut twisted, but I tried to laugh it off. Maybe it was just some glitch with Snapchat's location services. It wasn't unheard of for apps to mess up like that. I pushed it to the back of my mind and continued scrolling through my phone, though the uneasy feeling lingered. An hour passed. I got another snap from Derek. I hesitated before opening it, unsure if I really wanted to see it. But curiosity got the better of me. The snap opened to a dimly lit street, my street. The camera seemed to be pointed at my neighbor's house across the road. The location tag was still showing that Derek was close by. Now, I was genuinely freaked out. I messaged Derek again, telling him what was going on. "Someone's pretending to be you." I typed, hands trembling slightly. "They're outside my house." Derek responded immediately, "Tyler, I swear I'm not sending those. I have no idea what's going on." I jumped up and locked all the doors in my house, checking each window to make sure they were shut tight. My heart pounded in my chest as I paced around the living room, every sound suddenly magnified. Another snap notification. I didn't want to open it, but I couldn't stop myself. I tapped on the screen. The snap showed my front yard, my house in plain view, taken from the sidewalk. The caption read, "See you soon." Panic gripped me. I called the police immediately, explaining the situation. They told me to stay inside and that they'd send someone to check it out. I sat in the dark living room, every muscle tense, trying to listen for any noise outside. Minutes passed like hours. Finally, the police arrived. They searched the area, but found nothing. No one lurking outside, no sign of anything unusual. I couldn't shake the feeling that someone had been there, watching me, messing with me. The next morning, I got a call from the police. They had found Derek's body in a ditch outside the city. He had been brutally murdered, and his phone was missing. My blood ran cold when I heard the news. Whoever had been using Derek's account wasn't just playing a prank. They had his phone, and they were dangerous. I didn't sleep for days after that. Every notification on my phone made me jump. The thought that someone had been so close, pretending to be Derek, sent chills through me. Even though the police are still investigating, they haven't found the person behind it. And I can't shake the feeling that they're not done with me yet. Whoever they are, they're still out there.